your host, Andrew,
Hey, and I'm Danny.
and this is your source for tech, gaming, and entertainment news. Definitely make sure you like, subscribe to this podcast. You can find it on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all the places that you can find shows. We are there. Daniela, we have a lot to cover. Surprising to see a horde mode in a game that I usually play, Destiny 2. So that's definitely something I wanted to discuss with you at the top of the show. Horde mode is now going to be in Destiny 2 as of April 9th. They did a live stream earlier today, talked about it at length, and it looks really, really good. And I may jump into that. What do you think about a horde mode in Destiny 2?
There's nothing wrong with that. I'll probably, if I went back to play Destiny, it would be for Horde mode. Because if anything, it was Gears. It was Gears that definitely, I guess, created my love for Horde mode. That was just like one of those things you can just jump in with like three other friends and you just do 50 waves. I don't know what Destiny, I didn't get to watch that today, but like, did they say how many waves it is or
Yeah,
like,
I think it goes to 50, and there's a boss at the end of every 10th.
yeah.
Every 10th there's, yeah. And then you have also the traps, you have the turrets, you have the trip mines, and you have the ability to not necessarily share your scraps to build, because every player has their own wallet, and how the scrap is actually done for you to purchase, a turret or something like that. If you die, then that's it. So if you reach 25 and you didn't get to 26, that's it. But if you beat the boss, at 10th or 20th or 30th, then you get the rewards, for that. It seems like there are rewards that drop during some of the bosses that you encounter during the waves, let's say 1 through 10 or 10 through 20 or whatever, et cetera, et cetera. And it looks really good. I was actually surprised of how good it actually looks for something that I've only seen from what I can recall and Gears of War. That's where, well, technically we were introduced to something like that in like the Nintendo days, if you consider a game that you play over and over again as its own horde, by way of mindset, like a Contra or something like that.
Yeah.
But Gears was the first game that introduced the mechanics the way we play the games today. So, what do you think about that?
I think that's actually really awesome because that's like one of the things that I just really loved about Gears Horde is that um you know just kind of like you said it had 50 ways. On the 10th one is always some big boss or something like that. You know, I don't think there was I'm trying to think about this, the way the scraps that you have your own individual wallets for upgrades and stuff like that. I believe in Gears it was like a collective thing, and then everybody every kill, it's like you get X amount of. I think this one was money, and then you do your upgrades. You have turrets. You have like your little dummies for decoys. You have your barricades. You had
Yep.
all these really cool things, and I love that about Gears Horde mode. So that actually sounds like a lot of fun. It sounds like a lot of inspiration from, that type of horde that Gears presented and put forth. And I think it just takes away from, the whole typical PvE or you're going through, the story or even the PvP. So just to add another option for it, I think is actually pretty cool. And the other thing I think is pretty awesome is that I don't know how many years it's been now, but they're still adding new features, new elements, new things for you to still enjoy the Destiny, universe still.
100%, 100%. Yeah. So right now they're going through Guardian Games. Guardian Games should wrap up next reset, which is Tuesday, and then not too far from now we're going to be experiencing Horde mode. They're calling it Onslaught, right? But it is Horde mode. It is horde mode for Destiny players, available to all players. There's no additional charge for that is going to be implemented to the game. And we talk about this often with some of the live services games that we discuss normally. They do a great job, with the updates that they continue to offer in the games, which is why we continue to play them. Whether it's Paladins, which is more of a hero shooter. Warframe continues to do a lot of updates, regularly. Destiny, of course, and Gears. Even though Gears, I don't play it as much, they still do updates, for Gears. somewhat regularly, from what I understand. So even that game, Gears 5, is, has held up really well in terms of graphics, the fidelity of it for sure.
So I'm excited for you.
Yeah, it's good. It should be fun. It should be fun. We're looking forward to that for sure. So that's April 9th. That's going to be available for all players who play Destiny 2, and looking forward to that, for sure. Next thing that we have is Valve launches new Steam Families household game sharing tools. So I haven't necessarily used, that portion of Steam when it relates to stuff like this. So I definitely want to hear your take on this.
Actually, I do. I've been using it for a while. I share my library and vice versa with my best friend's husband, my son, and then there's me. So there's like four different libraries. It can get really overwhelming because you can see all of it and all of our games. The biggest thing that was kind of like a little bit of a drawback is that if we happened to be playing a game within one of our libraries, um, you couldn't play it. That was kind of it. It was like, okay, you have to figure out, okay, who's playing. All right, get off so I can play my game. Right now, it looks like with this update, like that will not be a problem, and then it'll be available offline as well too. And on top of that, if whoever's playing that's on your shared thing, uh, it looks like they can get their own like Steam achievements and all this other wonderful stuff and everything else that you own. So I think that's really cool that they're enhancing this. But it is a feature that I've actually really liked. Of course, if like you want multiple people want to play the same game together, say if it's co-op, uh, you do have to have your own separate copies, which makes sense. Totally makes sense. But for my library, a lot of it is single player games. So that was never a problem with my library. Now my friend's libraries is a different thing. And even my son, but my son has a very short library. If anything, he benefits off of like feeding off of mine rather than me getting any benefits off of his because he only plays, I think, Forza, Skate, and some driving game, and then Fortnite. And Fortnite's not on Steam, but like he has a very specific like 3 or 4 games that he plays. So he doesn't have as big of a library. He doesn't get suckered into the Steam sales and all these other
The
things.
spring sales going on right now, right?
Yeah, I know, and I did buy one game. I don't know why.
What'd you buy?
I think it's called Minami. I can't remember the title of it. I just randomly came across it. It was actually no, it wasn't even on sale. I paid full price for it, but it wasn't expensive. It's like it's a short indie game. It was 4.99, so it's only $5. But it just like when I was going through the sales and then you have like, other recommended like games for what I was looking at, that one came up. It looked really cute. It like offers 2 to 4 hours of gameplay, so $5 really isn't that bad. And I love my indie games and I don't know when I'll get to play it right now. I'm still trying to work and find time to continue on with Infinite Wealth right now at the moment. Um, but it was really cute. I'm trying so hard not to look at my wish list because I know so much of it
How
is on
many do you
sale.
have? How many do you have on your wish list right now? I'm curious. I don't have that many. How many do you have? You would say
Um, it's 200 something.
200. Wow.
I had to
Wow.
disable the email notifications of like, oh, game on your wish list is on sale. I had to disable that because I was getting so many emails. Um, a little bit ridiculous, but yeah, I add them there. Well, they're not all games that are currently on sale. I also add games that I'm interested in that haven't been released yet. So there's games like that that's on there. Um, but most of them, yes, they have been released, and I'm just waiting for a good sale. But right now, I need to stop adding to my backlog and work on what I have,
Right.
save my money. But at the same time, when it comes to indie games, really true small studio indie games, like I'm so compelled. Like, I want to support you. Your game looks really cute. I'll get around to playing it soon. Here's some money.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah,
So
and
that's where I'm
especially,
at.
it's a spotlight for them, right? When we see the spring sales or autumn sales, depending on what it is for Steam. So yeah, they get a lot of visibility and a lot of sales, I'm sure, for individuals who
Well,
see the
uh,
title.
yeah. As much as I love like the seasonal sales, I really do like. like when they do the indie game sales, like you have the wholesome games, and like they have the sales that go on for those just to showcase those games even more. Like that gets me really excited. I kind of find more games that maybe necessarily they don't necessarily have the marketing budget to be able to advertise, during big events, or they didn't finish their stuff before the indie showcases and stuff like that. So being able to find those um, within the Steam sales is a huge benefit to me, and I found so many games that way. So I'm just a sucker for indie games. That's it.
200 games on your wish list is insane. That's, I, I
And
thought I
I
was
I think I
bad.
have, yeah, I think I have 2 times as much on my actual library, my personal library.
Wow.
Don't
Well, I'm
ask me how
sure.
many of them I've actually finished. I can't give you a number.
Yeah, I mean, so even with some of the games that I have right now, I don't know. Lately, I've just been playing Call of Duty a lot lately, like a lot, like Prestige, finally, and then still playing it. I don't know what's going on, but it's I'm having fun with Call of Duty right now. So next thing that we have is Twitch will end its Prime Video watch party. What's going on there? Like,
I have no clue. I'm going to be honest with that one because I've never actually joined in on any, but I don't, maybe it's just the people that I follow or something, but I've never seen anybody like post about like, hey, we're doing a watch party. Let's all go and watch this. Like I see it more on Discord, but not like they're doing it on Twitch. On Discord, yes, but Twitch, I don't know. Maybe like I guess that makes sense. I mean, I'm not saying it wasn't popular, but I'm just saying of the people that I follow, which is a few hundred, I've never really seen that feature used. So
right,
maybe it's not
right,
that popular.
right. Yeah, I haven't really heard much about it, but definitely to your point, people watching stuff on Discord on a regular basis and streaming stuff there, whether it's a game. I think that's what we tend to see regularly, or hear about for the most part.
Mhm.
Next thing, for of course, Mr. Beast is. I mean, in terms of numbers and metrics, this guy does so much, right? Also, community stuff and philanthropic stuff as well. So what we have here is Amazon's Mr. Beast show to become biggest reality competition series in television history with 5 million single cash payout. Any thoughts on that?
Um, I had to go and look this up because I the Squid Games that Netflix hosted, I think, was for 4.56 million.
Okay,
So yeah, 5 million. I'm like, or all right, just trying to like step up the game there, Mr. Beast. Um,
100%.
but yeah, it sounds when he said biggest, he wasn't kidding. It's 1,000 contestants, 1,000, and I really
Right.
thought Squid Games was like a lot.
It
This is
was
like a
300,
thousand
right?
people. Um, I don't remember the exact number. No, it was more than 300, I think.
Okay.
But like that's crazy for just a single $5 million cash payout. It blows my mind. It blows my mind what Mr. Beast like does. And it's not coming from jealousy. It's just kind of like every time you think he's like reached like this peak, he like just goes beyond, and that is really inspiring. I'm not saying that I aim to be the next Mr. Beast, Miss Beast, whatever. Um,
You
but
could.
I think
There's nothing
I
wrong with that.
I could, but um I need to start small dreams first, which is really, what everybody does. Anybody who found success starts off with, small dreams, and you build upon that and you reach it and you get to the next goal and the next goal and the next goal. Oh, for me, I like to use the term milestone. But it like he just continues to come up with these projects, these ideas, and then the people that just back him, like this might be out of pocket here, but if I had to go with content creator, YouTuber, I would say that Mr. Beast within that world is like almost like Hideo Kojima, because you have you have Kojima-san who creates these ideas and these games and everything he wants to do in that space, and there's studios that will back him, there's people, productions that will back him. Mr. Beast, in terms of content creators coming from YouTube, I feel is almost the same way. He has so many people who believe in what he does and how he just always meets their expectations and exceeds it, that people are like, and he does it continuously, that people are like, will see this name, Mr. Beast, and be like, yes, whatever project he is doing, I want to be a part of. And I might be out of, a little bit out there to compare him to that, but I just think then you have these personalities who have such great ideas and great work ethics and just goals and creativity. Who wouldn't want to be behind them? The only other person I would also compare that to is like T-Pain. I am such a T-Pain fangirl over these last several years. I love
Really?
everything. Yes, because like with T-Pain, I know we're totally going off over here,
No,
but
let's go. Let's go.
like um T-Pain for what it is, I just like early on, like several years ago, I want to say it was like 5 or 6 years ago, maybe it was sooner, maybe it was later. Like I just accepted him as this like rapper. Like I liked his music, he was cool, but I didn't really follow along with what he did. And then there was this period where he kind of like not necessarily disappeared, but you really didn't hear much about T-Pain. And then he was on The Masked Singer, the first season of Masked Singer. And if you haven't watched like a single episode or anything like that, it's basically different types of talent that just wears the costumes and masks. You don't know who it is. They sing their heart out, but there's like little tidbits of like, who could this be? And they give little hints and there's puzzles and you're trying to figure out who it is. He ended up winning the first season, and like hearing his story about where he was and that he got known for just using auto tune, and that he didn't have any real talents and maybe he wasn't a good singer. He had a very beautiful voice that I didn't know he had until
Yeah.
that, and it was very touching. But I think from then, I can't say that Matt Singer boosted his popularity up again, but I started to notice like he started doing different projects. He was part of different things, and then he started Nappy Boy Gaming, and he was streaming on Twitch,
On
and
Twitch. That's right.
yeah. And then he also like had his own concert at one of the Twitch cons that I got to go to in San Diego, and like he was part of Hoonigans because he wanted to learn how to drift, and he just this man just kind of wants to learn and experience all these different things. He like links up with the right people, and he gets to be a part of it, and he brings people along for the journey. And he even brought like several other streamers into Nappy Boy Gaming to like help boost and just be a part of the community, have fun. I think he's starting his a whole other new project. I know it's Nappy Boy something, I'm not too sure what it is, but he's also doing a residency in Vegas, and like just to see somebody having fun and getting to try out all these different things. And I think that's like kind of like my whole thing lately is I love seeing people who are kind of stuck in one certain area being able to branch out and just enjoy and have fun and bring people along for the ride and still be able to do all of these things. So yeah, the late I would say that I would definitely say that T-Pain is definitely kind of like up there in terms of like one of those creatives that people are backing and they want to be on that journey with them. Like, why not?
Yeah, I love T Pain too. So echo everything that you said. I'm curious though, um, if PewDiePie was still active in the forefront of news, where would you put him in a conversation for someone who has amassed a tremendous following on the platform as well for YouTube?
Um,
Setting
maybe
aside, setting aside,
I don't
if
know.
it's possible.
There's a bias that I have for that one because when it comes to PewDiePie, He is not my cup
Yeah.
of tea. He
I,
is not my cup of tea, so I do not follow what he's doing.
right.
I am so sorry for people who are fans. Well, I'm not sorry that you are fans of him. If you like PewDiePie, that's great on you. What I'm saying is I'm sorry that I might offend you because you might be a fan of him. He's just not my cup of
Mm,
tea. Like there's something about it that just annoys me, so I turn off everything and I don't
okay.
want to watch it. Like I'm not hating on him. He found his success. He found his niche. He found his community. He found his audience, and that's great. But I don't follow what he does. There's nothing that draws me to him. I'm sure that there would be, something that he could do, and he could possibly reinvent himself, and still have the PewDiePie name. But people grow, people change,
Right.
um,
People have
and he can go
babies.
on do stuff. Yeah, it could change the person there. But for me personally, I'm not following anything PewDiePie does. I'm cool.
That's
He
fair.
does his thing. I'm probably not going to pay attention or watch it.
That's fair. That's fair. I think last thing that I've seen, which is probably a year or two removed at this point, had a baby recently, and I think he's living in Japan with his family, from what I understand. But yeah, I was curious where you would put him in the conversation, but we'll move on.
I wouldn't.
We'll-
I wouldn't because I happen to like these other personalities and what they do because I feel like they bring some type of positivity. I don't know what I've like read in headlines about PewDiePie. I'm like, I don't know how positive you are, but I'm sure you offer something. It's just not my type of something.
Fair enough. Fair enough. We'll take it. Okay, so next thing we have is Madam Web. Uh, it got to the digital platform fairly quickly. Any
Yeah,
thoughts
I
on
think
that?
it's April 20, sometime in April. It's gonna like immediately turn around there, and I haven't watched it personally. I considered it for a little bit, but I passed. um, it was probably one of the few times where I did take into consideration what a lot of people who were going to see it kind of said. Typically, I really don't do that. Um, but it didn't sound good, and movie theaters are is not cheap. It really isn't. So I figured, oh, I'll just wait the few months to watch it on whatever streaming platform it would be. I didn't think it would be that quick though. Am I
Yeah,
surprised
happened really
though?
fast.
Maybe a little bit surprised, but they got to recoup their money somehow. So I'm gonna watch it. I am.
I'm gonna watch it too. Yeah,
So
I'm gonna watch it too. So, yeah, we'll definitely see what's going on with Madam Web. Next thing we have live action Popeye the Sailor Man film in development. Surprised by this one?
just a little bit, but also I'm totally down for it because, well, Robin Williams. Robin Williams plays in live
Mm,
action Popeye, and I loved that movie. I'm not gonna sit here and compare the two because Popeye is such an interesting character that never. I don't know. I feel like the definitely our generation right now, or not our generation, but the generation right now. I don't think they know Popeye. I gotta go and ask
mm.
my son. Um, but I wouldn't say he was during my era. I'm not that old, but I loved him. Like I don't know what it was about him. I think it was just the way he was just like really kookily drawn, and I don't know. But I can say that I think for a long time I thought sailors were like Popeye and like they ate very healthily
Right. All the
and
spinach.
uh, spinach and just always had a pipe. But
right, right, right.
but there was something about Popeye that I liked, and so when I watched the only live action movie I've ever seen of Popeye was with Robin Williams, and I love that movie. I love a lot of movies that Robin Williams is in. I don't think they're gonna try to recreate it to for somebody to try to fill those shoes because I really don't know too many people who watched that movie or even know that movies existed. But I think it's a nice little fresh take, and I love older cartoons.
Yeah,
So
one
to
hundred
bring that to
percent.
a live action, like you can literally do anything with it because you don't have such a huge fan base that's going to critique this Popeye movie and be like, "Oh, that's not, that's not true to his origin and lore." If anybody does that, they're probably in their 70s.
For sure, for
and
sure.
and you know what? That's perfectly fine. But yeah, I love Popeye.
No, Popeye is pretty cool. So, Avatar season two will have one. I know it's not on here, but I just wanted to mention that. Next thing that I have here, AI already being used by 62% of studios, gaming studios. Unity report claims. Now, with this conversation, when it comes to AI, some people feel like it's going to take a lot of jobs. Some people love the fact that it is making their workflow much faster, much easier. I do use AI in some capacity with some of the stuff that I do for that video editing. When we have to edit and cut and opus clips and different things like that. Cap cut, et cetera, et cetera. And we've used we've used this technology in different ways in the past, and even now, when you think about autocorrect, from what I understand, is a form of AI. And of course, they're not talking about autocorrect when you talk about the studios. You're talking about, generative images. You're talking about animations. You're talking about different things like that. So, how do you feel about that? And would you care if something was AI generated in a game or not in the next, 4 to 5 years? Because we know that it's being implemented really quickly at this point.
I'm still trying to develop a personal opinion about it. Like, I don't think AI is going anywhere. I think if you're within any tech fields, I'm not even talking specifically gaming, I'm just talking about any field of work, your personal life, um, you need to understand what AI is and how it's being implemented. I mean, Amazon uses it for your shopping. Like, I don't know how many times this thing tries to suggest different things to me. Google uses it, obviously. I mean, it's used in so many different variations and implementations that you're just gonna have to. I don't want to say accept it, but it's just like you have to acknowledge that it's there in our life in some capacity, and it's just not going to go away. Now, as far as work and jobs go, to a certain degree, I do believe that AI and robots will replace the human workforce. I don't know in what capacity or how. Now, as far as what work is being done, I have so many mixed feelings about that because I feel like when it does happen and it does come, an AI generated game, I feel like if it's just scenery, like the backdrop of something, usually in games you're playing and sometimes like the backdrop is kind of blurred out. I can understand having that all filled in and that being generated. Maybe it is already is. It probably is in some games. But core design of characters, even like NPCs, I don't at least right now, I don't think AI is on that level to be able to replace a person actually designing and developing it. Now, in 5 years, I think we'll still keep mocaps and motion captures and all of that stuff happening. But I think the AI might be able to take that data that we capture from mocaps to create something a bit faster.
Yeah, I think that, especially where we are, I'm just going to talk about it from the content creation perspective. When you think about CapCut and the features that it has built in, for removing backgrounds, noise removal or cancellation or different things like that. And then you think about Opus clips to cut your clips, and there's other, tools that people are using, to actually do the jump cutting for their videos, to do the short clips for, any platform, like a platform like YouTube or TikTok and stuff like that. I think it's beneficial for not only individuals but companies, and we're gonna see. And the thing is, like, at some point, you're not going to even think about if what you're watching is an AI generated thing, because nobody really thought about that what they were using with auto correct and stuff like that was a form of AI. Nobody really thought about it. So it because it was a tool that benefited you when you were, sending your messages and things of that nature. So I think that when we think about, editing videos, sound production, and of course you can go on YouTube and put, best AI tools, and it's going to give you a list of 4 or 5, and things like that. um, People, whether it's a small team or, large companies, they're using these tools to benefit them, for the things that they do for their projects. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. So this particular announcement by way of 62% of studios are actually using it, we're not necessarily shocked by that because there are benefits to those things. And I do believe at some point we're not going to distinguish, if something is AI or not. Like even some of the replies on X, right? Some people will see a reply and say, "Oh, is this reply, you know, AI generated?" Right? But if
Mhm.
depending on the company and what they're using, that technology for, maybe it is, but for the context of responding, in a timely manner and what you're supposed to say, when you think of the scripts that when you call a particular, customer service center, that script is already pre-written on how they're supposed to navigate you through the things that, what I mean. So I
Yeah.
think that, it's getting a bad rap now because people are still trying to understand the effects and how it's going to benefit humanity as a whole. But we already see benefits. Like we use some of it here, and a lot of the videos that we watch, I'm sure they're going to incorporate some kind of AI in it too. So I'm not against it. I'm for it because I do see benefits of it personally, and I'm sure we're going to benefit from it when we see some of those things in games as well. So
Well, I think right now where I kind of draw the line is if it's AI, like voice acting. There's just something about that. I can't remember the game right now that was a PvP. It's a first person shooter. I think it's a 4v4 that used all the announcer voices that you're playing is all AI generated. That doesn't quite bother me, but when it comes to something that is story heavy, like for me, let's just use The Last of Us for an
I was
example.
just about to say that. Okay, so
Um,
if they use AI in some way, shape, or form, and then you find out maybe a year from now that a lot of the things that you saw in the game, including some of the audio, was AI generated, how would you feel about that?
so that's the thing for me. Like if they're using AI generated audio for say NPCs that you're passing and you're walking through a market and you just hear this noise and chatter. Okay, kind of eh. I'm kind of like in the middle there. There's kind of like a little bit of a gray area for me. But if like Ellie's voice was replaced by an AI machine, I feel like right now with AI, there's just something about the human voice and being able to act that out that draws out that emotion, that feeling, that attachment that you develop with a character that means so much that I don't think at this stage AI can do.
Hmm.
Like I cannot picture that. I really don't want to. Like the way that voice actors have made you feel, like even if it's not like a heart pulling feeling like Kratos, um, there's just something about Kratos' deep, raspy voice that just has that excitement, that thrill, that just like
Agreed.
intenseness.
Agreed.
So I can't picture AI replacing that or being able to draw that same feeling out.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. Any other thoughts on the AI conversation?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's just something that I think we have to acknowledge and get used to some capacity and degree that it's there. It's not going anywhere. I do think overall, the bigger picture of everything, there needs to be some type of regulation for AI because just like everything, just like when the internet was created, and it was meant for good things.
100%.
Everything that's created could be good for used for good or bad. And if it's AI is used for bad, man, man, it's all over with there. That's what I think. Especially like my paranoid person. Like I just watched have you watched the movie Leave the World Behind?
Oh no, what's that about?
Um it's basically like the US gets a cyber attack and um, you know, their entire social economic like system there kind of falls apart and we have no way of communicating, none of these things, but like, there's this one scene in there where you have the Tesla cars, kind of AI there that were self-driving with no people in it and they're just like driving to some unknown destination and crashing into each other.
So is it more of a drama? What is thriller? Okay, I see it. Thriller
Drama
mystery.
thriller, yeah.
Okay.
It's really good if you haven't watched it. You should go and check it out. Uh, but AI becomes self-aware, which we have Judgment Day coming on. I won't say that there will be robots from the future coming to kill us, but um, becomes sentient for whatever reason
Mm.
and establishes like you humans are not doing anything good with your lives. Let us reset you.
I don't know for no. And the next maybe we it's the way this is written. The next one we have is nobody wants to die. Daniela, we could go right into that, right?
Oh
Let's talk about
man.
that.
I just want to say hi, Dylan. Thank you for joining us. Uh, that trailer looked really good. So, Nobody Wants to Die is a detective noir set in 2329 in New York City, your side of the world over there. That is like I like games that come out with like a little surprise, like you didn't really see anything leading up to it for them to announce like, hey, we're coming out soon. Um, to just drop this trailer and here you go, you'll be able to play it. Um, Sadly, it's the first person, so I won't be able to. But that cinematic trailer, if the game meets that expectation, it's going to be pretty amazing, I think.
Yeah, for sure. So it's a detective noir adventure set in 2329 New York City, announced for PC, PS5, and Xbox. And definitely check it out. It's called Nobody Wants to Die. It is, I guess you would say, in the same realm of a maybe a cyberpunk type of genre. You know,
Yeah,
if you
I
were
got I
to,
got cyberpunk, Total Recall vibes from it, and
yeah, for sure.
yeah, so that's something to keep
Yeah.
an eye out on.
Yeah, it looks really good. It definitely looks really good. So definitely check it out. Nobody Wants to Die. Next thing that we have here is so we actually talked about this a while ago. Connie Booth, and I think the story kind of broke um, a while ago when David Jaffe talked about it the night before or whatever. And then the next day, she was gone from, PlayStation. So PlayStation veteran Connie Booth joins EA to oversee its action RPG portfolio. So we were kind of waiting for this a little bit
Yeah,
to see exactly where she was going to, go next in terms of some of the things that she's done over the years by way of games and what she's contributed. And the list is extensive. So I'm gonna see if I can pull that up by way of some of the games that she contributed to. But when you heard that news that she's going to EA for action RPG portfolio, what's your take on that? What are your thoughts on that?
that really honestly, like just overall, she wasn't going to be gone for like a long time. She was going to be picked up by somebody. I think maybe that even that prediction. Like you can't have that extensive of a portfolio and history and be in the industry that long and not have somebody want you to be a part of their team and add that value for them to benefit for them.
Yeah,
So
so before you give additional thoughts, just to mention some of the titles: Jack and Daxter, Sly Cooper, Ratchet and Clank, Infamous, Resistance, Uncharted, The Last of Us, and Marvel's Spider-Man. Uh, I mean, incredible catalog. But go ahead.
yeah, we will see with that those games under her wing there. Um, yeah, being a part of their action RPG portfolio kind of just makes sense. Like I see her doing good over there. Whatever reason why the PlayStation thing happened, but um, it just kind of like it's great to see her go somewhere else, expand, see what happens, see what can benefit them. Like I think EA needs it, but
I
yeah, it's
mean,
good for her.
for being at PlayStation for so long, and the catalog and the experience, hopefully, going to EA, we're going to see maybe EA do a little bit better with some of the things that they got going on. A lot of layoffs recently from not just EA but a lot of different companies at large. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what's going to go on with that.
We'll talk about it like probably later in the year. Probably.
Yeah, to
I'm
see
sure there's gonna be
exactly.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, 100% to see exactly what she's going to do, or the major influence that she's going to bring to titles and stuff like that. So definitely looking forward to that. Next thing that we have is Power World. We talked about Power World, I guess, almost every every episode we've done in the last couple of weeks, right? So here we are again. So Power World, Dev says massive profits are too big for a studio with our size to handle. One of the things that they did mention that they're going to remain, a small studio. They're not going to, expand to what would be considered, AAA and things of that nature. And one of the previous conversation we had was, what is AAA? What constitutes, AAA, studio and stuff like that. But they're deciding to remain small. What do you think about that?
You know what's funny and so interesting because I told you I think I don't know last episode the one before I was reading the book Profit First and it was talking about how you handle money coming in and that even like a lot of people who have run businesses when they start making a huge profit they start like oh we're gonna hire more people we're gonna get the latest and most expensive things on there and then they just kind of like overreach on certain things. The next thing you know, like where does this big profit that I once had go? So I think just reading that, not saying that's the reason or that's the book that they're reading, following, but I think it's kind of smart to just like, all right, we had one really great release and it's doing really well and it continues to do good, but if we can maintain what we're doing with our staffing and our size, just might as well maintain that. Um, and here's the thing, like when you hire so much and say they do come out with another game, doesn't do as well, and you just hired like 200 other people because you had one game that was a success, what do you have now? You have layoffs, like it's gonna happen that you don't want to do because you were doing so good. Um, I I think it's like kind of commendable if you just want to keep it with the core people. I believe they said they had a 55 people, I believe it was, and I really hope they gave those people a really nice bonus. Like,
For sure.
we're not going to hire more people, but here's several $1,000 bonus. Go and
For
enjoy
sure.
it. You worked hard. I really hope that, the people, the team that they do have, they do those bonus, like some type of bonus for them. Because right now, I think they're well for where they're staffed did not look too soon into hiring more expanding, going beyond. And
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So, I think that 55 is a lot of people. And when we talk about Hellblade, they only had 20, right? So just even now, when you think about it, it's really interesting.
but
So
with Hellblade, they had 20, but then they hired like they ended up growing because they did find success and they went the route of like let's get a bit more people to work on this. Let's combine and go and join this other studio and have a bigger team. Um, which is great, and that's also like what a lot of people stand more.
yeah, you sound faded a little bit.
Oh, well. I just think with Power World, I think for right now it's a smart play for them to just stick with what they have.
Yeah, 100%. So next thing we have is Halo 2. So the original Xbox Live multiplayer servers are coming back thanks to a service called Insignia. Okay, so Insignia allows you to, I guess, connect somehow to the original Xbox, and it allows you to play Halo 2 multiplayer in its original form, right? And what's interesting about that is I went to the Insignia website earlier today, and I think they had 120 people playing Halo 2, and it was 18, it was 60 players over, it was like 60 plus players over 18 different sessions, playing, Halo 2. And I think that services like Insignia, and there was another one back in the day, X-Link Kai was another one that I used to use to play, Halo, and it gives you the local area network feel to play the original title on the original Xbox. It's definitely not something I would, pursue now because of, I guess, all the different options that we have, available to us today. But the fact that they were able to do that and bring it back when Xbox actually shut down the ability to do that over so many years ago, I think it's a beautiful thing. Any thoughts on that?
That's actually kind of cool, especially for some, OG fans of it. I mean, I just think that's a cool idea. Like,
Yeah, it's definitely no, no, for sure, for sure. A couple of more things, and then we'll head out of here. Multiverses is coming back. That's coming back in May. Okay, it is the Super Smash for individuals who do not own a Nintendo system. I do not currently own a new Nintendo system, so my Smash is Multiverses. Okay, and that comes back in May. And next thing I have also is Super Mario Brothers movie. The next one will release in 2026. And any thoughts on those things?
um, I am not as well versed in multiverses. I mean, it's cool because it's like I kind of I'm gonna get it. I just forget about it. So I was like, oh, it's that one. Um, in my concept of time is completely lost because I was reading up to like refresh myself. I'm like, wait, this came out in 2021 and it's 2022. What year is this? Because I felt like it wasn't too long ago. um, but yeah, just I think it's interesting and it's a very cool concept. I think that is I never know. But it's cool for Smash Brothers, but
Yeah,
you
you
guys
sound like you're fading out a little bit.
oh man.
No, go ahead.
Okay, I
Keep
didn't touch
going.
anything. I didn't touch anything. But yeah, I think that's cool. Although the new Super Mario Brothers movie, yes, that could have to wait 2 years, but I love the first one. I'm okay
Yeah,
with it.
absolutely. No, the first one was really good. The first one was fantastic, and it's just the way they did Luigi's Mansion and Mario, and how they showcased that in the movie. I think was brilliant. And of course, the studios that are working on these games are always surprising us. There was a time where movies that were inspired by games were really really bad, and now we're at a place where a lot of these iterations, whether it's Borderlands or what have you, they look really really promising for us to enjoy by way of the entertainment medium when it comes to feature films. So looking forward to that, and the things that it's going to present. Super Mario Brothers movie will release in 2026, and last but not least, seems like we're in spring now. Time's already changed over for a lot of us. Maybe not for some of us. Summer Game Fest is June 7. Any thoughts on that? Anything that you're expecting to see coming out for as you're building your list for Steam titles and different things that are happening there?
I don't know at this point right now. I feel like there are games, but I think I have the space for them. I But for me right now, no. I gotta
No.
stick with the whole. I like the surprise factor. I'm sure as we get closer to June, I will definitely have something.
Okay. All right, that's fair. That's fair. Final thoughts. And we're gonna wrap here. Thanks for joining us in chat. I really do appreciate that. This episode 662. We definitely talked about the Horde mode that came out for Destiny. That's going to be April 9th. They had a live stream earlier. We talked about that. Excited for that because it's Destiny and it's Horde mode. Why wouldn't you be excited about that? And we also covered a lot of the news that took place this week. Any final thoughts before we wrap?
Oh, that's a great topic there. Have a lot more space than that. But that's usually the case.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. But yeah, thank you guys for joining us today for episode 6.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us for episode 662. We do appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. Definitely make sure you like, subscribe if you haven't done so already. And we'll see you next time. Take care, guys.